Hi everyone. I'm starting to hear Julian wake up a little bit, so I probably don't have as much time as I'd like, but I want to talk to you about how my weight stayed the same for the past 3 days and how I choose to trade in frustrations for appreciations and my three-step plan for going about this in the right way. Okay, so I know a lot of you might be feeling the same. You might be also frustrated. Your weight stayed the same for maybe a few days or a little bit, and you want to lose weight, obviously. So I am going to talk to you about my three-step plan for looking at the water bottle half full and not empty. Okay, are you ready? First step is trade in frustrations for appreciation. So I'm going to use myself as my example, and hopefully you guys will see kind of how I'm thinking, and you can maybe take on a similar way of thinking for your experience. So I'm going to talk about my personal experience staying at the same weight for a few days and my 3 steps through it. So this is personal, and I'm sharing it with all of you, and hopefully it helps you, and we can work together here to get to the next place where we want to be. Okay, so first thing I do when the scale stays the same for 3 straight days, which is so rare, like it didn't even deviate an ounce, exact same weight. What is today? Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. Okay, so the first thing I do is, and I'll give you a backup. I had lost weight on Monday morning, and then it went back up by like Tuesday morning, and then it stayed the same Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that is kind of frustrating because I saw a lower weight earlier in the week, and now it went up and stayed up. So frustrating, totally. But here's my 3-step approach to not get frustrated and continue to look at the water bottle half full, not empty. Okay, so the first thing I do is I trade frustrations for appreciations. Although the scale stayed the same for the past 3 days, I took a step back, I zoomed out, and I saw at a week's glance, Friday to Friday, I'm actually down 0.8. So even though it went down to like losing 1.8 and then jumped up about a pound and stayed there, I still, week to week, am down 0.8. So that's something to be appreciative about. You have to always zoom out and gain better perspective. While day to day, or maybe 3 days at a time, you might be frustrated by stagnation, there's still underlying progression. And you always have to, find the tree in the forest. You always have to be able to weed through and find the positivity, because there's positivity in every scenario that exists. And you gotta pin it out. You gotta pick it out and focus on it, okay? So the first thing is, while my weight went, if I look at my weight, in a 4-day thing, I'm actually up and stayed up. But if I look at it as a week at a glance, I'm down 0.8. So you don't get frustrated when you look at it day to day, because that's just feedback and whatever. But at a week at a glance, that's when you really want to be looking at your overall progress, and then a month at a glance, and so forth. So that was the first thing I did that took me from negative to positive. The next thing I do is I look at the rest of my body, and the rest of my body, thankfully, is doing well. The past 3 days, and I'll talk about it, I experimented because I stayed the same weight for 3 straight days. So I tried new things throughout those 3 days, and luckily my milk supply stayed exactly the same. So days that I ate more carbs or ate less carbs or whatever it is that I experimented with, which I'll talk about how I experimented, my milk supply stayed sufficient. I feel good. My body is working well. I feel energized. I feel happy in my body. And that's amazing. So while, my weight could stay the same, I feel good. My body's working well. And that's always something to celebrate. I don't have any ailments thank God right now, you know, like I'm good. I feel good. And that is always something to celebrate. So that's, you know, health is, you know, it's like a gift. And you only, you know, it's like when you stub your toe and then you can't walk for a week and then you realize how valuable your toe is that you never really, that you always take for granted. Never take your body for granted. If you feel good and your body is working and you're able to walk upstairs, you're like, you're doing better than a lot of other people. So, you know, you always have to just thank your body for just being in a good place overall. The next thing is, in the mirror, I feel like I'm changing a little bit. So while the scale stayed the same for 3 days, I'm noticing my stomach looks a little bit flatter and things like that. And that's great. So beyond the scale, you always want to look at like what your body parts, like, are you seeing your collarbones come out? Like throughout my 100-pound weight loss journey, it's amazing which body parts I discovered and got really into, like lines on the arm, or I remember when I saw this shoulder bone come out in a picture once like this, and I was like, that's so exciting. So, you know, like just using the mirror and discovering how your body might still be changing and evolving while you're, you know, the scale might be staying the same. Totally possible. The next thing that in my trading frustrations for appreciations is in the past 3 days, the scale literally stayed the exact same every day, the past 3 days to the ounce. And I did experiment. So one day I ate more carbs. One day I ate at a restaurant. One day I ate even a later meal, and the scale still stayed the same. So while I'm frustrated because like yesterday I feel like I did the opposite. I ate earlier, I ate all my food, I ate cleaner, I drank more water and all that stuff, and it still stayed the same. I'm still appreciative of the fact that on a day that I experimented a little differently, it still stayed the same when I thought it would gain. So I'm very appreciative of that. So while it stayed the same for 3 days, I'm very thankful I didn't gain, even though I've been things up and ate out and like just tried other things. I didn't like ever go overboard and treat myself or do anything silly at all, because that's not what I'm interested in doing right now. And I'll talk about that later. I'm interested in staying focused on where I want to be, but I'm still happy that even through experimenting, even through trying new things, I didn't go up. I didn't gain any weight, and that's awesome. Okay, the next thing is I'm trying on clothes. Okay, clothes are great as a push, as an indicator, as a helpful thing. I'm trying on clothes from when I was smaller. They're somewhat getting there. So at least I have my eye that like body is changing, body can change, getting somewhere. And then you also always, whenever you're frustrated and you're trying to get to the point of feeling appreciative, or you're feeling negative and you're trying to get to the point of positive, I find it's very helpful sometimes to flip of how would you feel in the alternate. So right now I'm staying the same while eating really well, right? What would be the alternate? Eating horribly? Binging? Like eating silly? How would that make me feel? I would feel horrible. Avoiding the scale, I would just be constantly like wondering what I am or paranoid about everything I'm eating. Avoiding tracking, if I weren't tracking, I would be like, I feel like I'm doing so well and I don't know what it is. I would have nothing to learn from. I would have nothing to go off of. So right now I'm tracking everything to a T. I'm using the scale in the morning. Water first, I'm veggies most. I'm eating, very similarly according to plated. I'm experimenting with different things, maybe like different ratio, like more veggies than it is, the more shore model, maybe less carbs at lunch or more carbs at lunch. Like I literally for the past 3 days, I have been experimenting because like I said, plated is a recommendation and suggestion, and we want to be able to modify it according to which is the best carb for you, which is the best protein for you, how many vegetables. I have been experimenting within the plated suggestions, but the alternative to not putting this effort in would be to feeling horrible, like horrible. So right now I feel good. The scale might stay the same and I want it to move, but I feel good. I'm eating well. I'm eating the foods that I am happy that My whole family is eating because I'm eating them. My body's working well. I'm eating foods that nourish me and give me good energy and are really what my body needs. And that in turn makes me have a more positive mindset as well. If the alternate, I stopped tracking or I stopped looking at the scale, I would be filled with doubts, frustrations, like it would be the worst, honestly, the worst. And anyone who's ever taken a day off tracking or taken a day off the scale, you can probably relate. When you don't go on the scale, you end up being more like, what does it say? What is it is? And then like feeling like everything you eat comes with a like question mark and almost guilt. Whereas if you track, there is no guilt. If you track, you're never cheating. If you write it down, it's always okay because you're always going to use that information to help you in the future. And you're still always making progress no matter what you're eating or doing. So that's another thing is the past 4 days, because I wrote down every single thing I eat, because I wrote down the times I ate, because I wrote down how much I slept, because I wrote down how much water I drank, because I wrote down like what my meals consisted of and where they consisted of and what seasonings and rubs, what it was, I now know exactly how to maintain my weight. That's really useful information. That's really useful information that I'm going to want to look at and refer to when, you know, I get to a weight that I want to maintain. I'll see exactly how maintenance looks like for me. So it's as long as you're tracking and as long as you're going on a scale and as long as you're following the other principles, even if the scale stays the same, you're moving forwards. You're taking progress. You're moving in the right direction. You're getting your habits into cooking better and eating better and shopping better and working it out for you. So the scale can stay the same forever, but as long as you're continuing to eat well and stay well and feel positive, your body's working well, and you're tracking and you're writing down, you're becoming more in tune with your body and you're celebrating it and you're giving it what it needs and you're clearing your mindset of doubt. Because if you don't write it down or type it down, it's stuck in here. And I find if I don't write down the food I'm eating, if I don't eat it and track it, then I'm not as present with my kids. I'm not as focused with everything else because I'm thinking like when I'm talking to someone like, did I overeat? Am I going to gain weight? Whatever. And everyone feels that way. We're all in our heads so much. And when you eat it and you track it, then you put it away. You know, you eat it, you track it, and you put it away. And then you can focus on everything else. And you know that, you know, you can refer back to that later and you're clear-minded, you're more positive, you're more free of any sort of negative thinking or self-talk. Even one night I felt like I overate at dinner and I was really expecting a weight gain and I just tracked it. I tracked and I wrote, I feel like I overate. And if you have the app or you're using the notes section of your phone or you're using, you can always write anecdotes like that. And the more anecdotes you write, the better. And I literally wrote, feel like I overdid it, feel like I overate, should have stopped like eating earlier because I felt like I ate dinner with my daughter. Then she went to play and then my husband came home and I just kept eating with him. And I wrote in my tracker, should have just finished eating dinner when I finished eating with Olivia and didn't like get going again with Noah. I should have like had my 2 hands on the wheel. I should have just drank water and watched him eat while I spoke to him, or folded my arms or pushed the seat back or do whatever it is so I don't overdo it. But that ended up staying the same the next day. So that's where I was appreciative. But writing that down really helped me clear my head so I could then dock him, I could focus and stuff like that. And I'm not like thinking about that while trying to do other things. Okay. So that's step 1. Trade frustrations for appreciations. Make a list of things you are appreciative for, of what did work for you and what is working for you, and that you are always making progress as long as you're still tracking. Okay. Step 2, investigate. So the step 2 is start investigating. I am an investigator, and you have to be an investigator too. So I tried drinking more water. I even tried chewing less gum. I found I was chewing gum and I was like, maybe it was an artificial sweetener gum. And I was like, you know what, I'm not going to chew gum. My weight stayed the same. I tried an earlier dinner. I tried eating out versus in. I tried sleeping more. I told my husband I need to sleep more. I tried a later breakfast. I exercised. I tried exercising, weight still stayed the same every day. So I'm expecting it to go down. I'll talk about that in the next thing, but that's how I want you to investigate. And I investigated that I wasn't tracking enough. I invested like enough with enough detail. I put more detail in. I tried, I see that there's a bug in my water. Sorry, I got distracted. I investigated like bigger meals, but less like, you know, but nothing like less anything in between versus, you know, like throughout the day. Just try more things. I just tried more things. I tried a baked potato as my FFC at lunch. And then I also tried this like oil-free hummus as my FFC for lunch. Then one day, I don't think I even had an FFC at lunch. Again, like I said, my energy stayed the same. My breast milk production stayed the same. And my weight stayed the same too. So like, you know, but this is, I tried, I practiced, I went through different things. So I'm going to keep experimenting because there's always something that can use tweaking. And that's it. Now I want to talk about the plan moving forward. So the first thing you want to do is trade frustrations for appreciations. The second thing you want to do is become an investigator. Really look at your tracker. Was there enough detail in it? Was there enough feelings in it? Was there enough? Did you track your water? Did you track your sleep? Did you track your stress? Do you track the condiments? Did you track all of that? The third thing is you set a plan. Set a plan. Okay, so this is how I set a plan. The first thing I do to set a plan is don't get comfortable. Never get comfortable. Never, ever, ever get comfortable. So that's the first part of the plan is you don't get comfortable. Because in the first part I'm talking about, I'm really appreciative. I feel like my body's moving and stuff like that. But putting on those smaller clothes shows me I'm appreciative that they're buttoning, but I'm not comfortable in how they look. So the first thing is don't get comfortable here. Your body loves losing weight. Your body wants to get to a healthy size. Your body is not stagnant here. Your body is not happy here. Your body, this is not your set point body weight. Don't start fueling yourself with this. If you're not at like within a healthy body weight range, you know, or you still feel like you have a lot of excess, you know, fat on you and your heart health and stuff could improve, or your body feels like your energy and body and health can improve with a future weight loss, whether it's 2 pounds or 20 pounds or 30 pounds, then you know, you don't have to get comfortable there if that's really not where you're comfortable being. So, you know, we all have a different comfortable weight, but don't start self-sabotaging and convincing yourself that there's some sort of magic set point that your body wants to stay in, because if there is a healthier weight for you, according to your doctor, according to your body mass index, you can Google BMI, what's my BMI? Like, you know, if there is a healthier place for you to be, then your body is not magically comfortable in the space. So don't let your mindset get comfortable in that place if you still feel like you are overweight, like you are obese, like you do have weight to lose. So that's how I personally look at it first, is like I don't get too comfortable wherever I am, because I know that, you know, I've been 10 pounds lighter. I know I'm much more comfortable there in my mindset, in my clothes, in my overall day-to-day confidence and energy and well-being. So while I feel good today, I feel like I look good today, I'm happy today, I celebrate my body today, I'm still focused on getting to where I want to be. That's one. The second is never self-sabotage. Tell yourself, my body loves losing weight. I'm not getting in my way. And remember, if you self-sabotage and you eat lots of junk and silly foods, are you going to feel better? Just ask, what's the alternative? Just because your weight stayed the same or went up, so, and maybe you're frustrated. So what are you going to do about it? Like, you're going to self-sabotage? And I get it, because I've done the self-sabotaging game for years. And I've watched people do the self-sabotage game forever. But don't do it. Just don't. Tell yourself. The self-sabotage mindset is, I give up. This isn't working. You know, my body's destined to stay here. Blech. Throw it out. Throw it out. Exchange it. Replace that with, My body loves losing weight. I can do this. I know I can do this. I'm going to put more effort in, and I'm going to amp everything up 5%. I'm going to watch more videos, drink more water. I'm going to track more diligently because I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Away with the negative, in with the positive. The only way to not be negative is to be more positive. So even if you don't believe it, even the fake it till you make it is one of the greatest tricks of all. Faking it till you make it is a great place to get you out of your mindset. Because right now you believe that your truth is that you're not worth it or that you can't do it. And that's faking a whole nother reality. That's not reality. That's reality you're creating. So start creating the real reality, which is you can do this. You're stronger than you think. You can lose 2 more pounds. You can do this. You could definitely put 5% more effort into every aspect of this plan. You could definitely keep watching the videos because you very likely did not watch every single one of the 41 videos. You can definitely be tracking with more effort and diligence. You can do this. So don't start convincing yourself that you can't. Okay? Ever. And we can, I think there are a lot of people who self-sabotage, so we should make sure that at 20 minutes people remember that. Okay, consistency is key. Consistency is key. I ate the same or slightly the same for about 3 days. Should have resulted in weight loss. I made tweaks, but all of them result in weight loss. There's hormonal changes. Like obviously I'm having hormonal changes, but everyone has hormonal changes, seasonal changes. You know, it's hot, it's summer. Also, this is a big weird time. Like school is ending, camp is starting, summer is starting. It's a weird time. And there's hormonal changes, and there's maybe constipation changes, and there's maybe bloating changes for the hotter weather. Like things are changing. So if you really feel like you're eating in a way that should result in a weight loss day, you got to stay consistent. And consistency is key. So you should make little tweaks and try like tracking more and drinking more water and eating more veggies, or maybe having an earlier dinner, or being better with dinner and done, or removing a snack, you know, having like a more measurable carb versus a loose one like quinoa, like to maybe a slice of like high fiber bread. Like, you know, you should tweak. But ultimately, if you feel like something should be resulting in a weight loss and it didn't, then while you're making slight tweaks, consistent with tracking, consistent with going on the sale, consistent with drinking more water first, consistent with veggies most. You know, consistency is key. And even if you are having hormonal changes or you know, bloating or, you know, medical changes or whatever it is, ultimately, if you stay consistent, your weight loss will typically catch up with you. And again, never self-sabotage, never go overboard, because that's just, you'll always feel worse when you do. So stay consistent doing well for your body. Stay consistent doing well for your mindset, okay? Because the alternative is not better. That's a fact. And you can play with it. You can try not tracking. You could try not going on scale. You could try the negative self-talk. But then you really have to be real with yourself of how you feel doing that versus staying more positive and being more on top of yourself and your self-care. Because you'll typically see that the healthy choice is always the better choice. I always say it. The healthy choice is always the better choice. You have baby carrots, you have chips on the table at a party. The healthy choice is the better choice. It just always is. The healthy choice is always the better choice. You always feel better while eating it. You always feel prouder. You always feel more confident. You always feel better afterwards. It's just the better choice. So always choose the better choice. The last thing I'll say is go sometimes from 2 pounds at a time to thinking 2 ounces at a time. Sometimes, you know, like, why are the 2 pounds not coming off? Why are the 2 pounds not coming off? Bring it down to 2 ounces. If you're 183 and thinking 181 is too much for you, then just think 182.9. If you're 183, can you get to 182.9? Anyone can lose an ounce. Anyone can lose an ounce. So sometimes, like, you just have to keep that in mind. Like, you know, if you're 183 and you're focused on 145, you're going to be frustrated and you're going to be confused and you're going to be annoyed. I want you to have your overall goal in mind always, and always think like, if that's your goal, then you should always be thinking RT 143 or whatever it is. But for a day-to-day perspective, to keep you positive, to keep you real, to keep you focused, to keep you from not self-sabotaging, you know, sometimes you have to think even just 2 ounces at a time. Like, I can do 182.8. I can, and I will, and I'm going to do it. So, you know, make the goal small, make it clear. And this is my 3-step plan for staying positive, and, you know, through when your weight stays the same. So now I will take questions, but I really, really have to go because the baby is talking. Alice says she's having a hard time staying consistent with kids and business. My baby's 3 weeks old. I have a 3-year-old. School just ended. I'm working full time. I get it. Life is busy. My husband goes to work. I don't have his help. I get it. Life is busy. But we don't make excuses. We know we can do what we can do. There are a lot of like online shopping sources now that, you know, Kroger, Walmart can deliver groceries. You can make a plan. You always have 2 minutes for yourself. We spend 116 minutes on social media. If it's not something like this that's benefiting you, then there's probably a lot that you can eliminate and save that time to be more productive, not destructive. Come on. We cannot make excuses. We have to make action. Trade excuses for action and you'll get to where you want to be. I know we're busy. I'm busy. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. But busy is good. Busy is good, okay? Busy versus boredom. Like, busy is better. Boredom leads to boredom. Boredom just leads to boredom eating. Boredom leads to feeling like you're not going anywhere, and progress is happiness. And you always want, if you're busy, you're probably getting things done. You're probably doing something good for others, doing something for yourself, and that's a good place to be. So I'm a big believer in that. Trying to kick a bad habit while staying focused, says Angie. The best way to break a habit is to start a new one. It's really that simple. If your habit is having a sweet tooth and eating chocolate every night for dinner, then you replace that with reading a book after dinner. You replace that with watching a movie after dinner in bed. You replace that with taking a bath after dinner. Best way to break a habit is just replace it with a new one. Okay. I love you guys. My baby is scrambling and he needs to eat and I feel it. So, Megan, I'm so happy this came at a good time for you. Guys, going into this weekend, it's Father's Day. Great. There's always something. It's Father's Day. It's Mother's Day. It's 4th of July. It's Labor Day. It's Halloween. It's Thanksgiving. It's Christmas. Whoop-de-doo. Your health is always there. Consistent through your health. If you're going to a barbecue this weekend, like I am, I'm going to 2 barbecues this weekend. I'm offered to bring a salad. I volunteered my husband to do the grilling at one of them because I know he'll not add a lot of salty condiments to my grilled chicken and my grilled steak. And I'm going to bring lots of veggies to grill, zucchinis, portobello mushrooms. I'm not just bringing them to the host. I'm slicing and preparing them because I know that they're better for me, better for everyone else around, and everyone loves grilled veggies when they're there and present. So just do what you got to do. You have your 2 hands on the wheel this weekend. You track everything. Yes, it's harder to track when, you know, your plate is not the plates you're eating at home or whatever it is, but do not take a bite until you maybe take a picture of your plate, you section off your plate, you make it smart, you really think beforehand. Always view the buffet before you start taking bites and making your plate. Survey it, make a plan for it. Do not go in too hungry. Go in water first. Go in having maybe some veggies before. So you go in greeting everyone there. So you spend time saying hi to everyone. So you take time to asking people how their week is. So you speak to all the dads there. You congratulate them. You celebrate them. You wish them well. You get all your kids settled. You get yourself settled. You fill up your water bottle. Take nice deep breaths. You realize, where am I? I'm in this Father's Day, whatever it is. And then After you take lots of deep breaths, maybe everyone else took their food, that's when you can get up, make your plate with a sound mind, a clear head, a good focus, and get what the food that you need to nourish your body, enjoy it, track it, and then go back to enjoying everyone else. So really try to make this weekend not all about the food, make it all about the people, make it about connection, make it about celebrating, make it about fatherhood, health, well-being, you know, because that's what it's all about. And I love you guys. What else? Okay, so I'm gonna go so this video stays nice and tight, and I'm going to see my baby. All right, I love you guys so much. Have the best weekend on Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Let's just celebrate it with health.